up in London, Ontario, received her BA at York University, and currently lives in Toronto. She is the author of over 20 published books and numerous short stories. She is also a tarot counselor and offers tarot scopes on her YouTube channel. Sèphera is an actress in movies, including Slime City Massacre and Killer Rack. So let's welcome her up to the stage.
I'm Sèphera Girón, as we just heard, and I am the Ontario chapter head of the Horror Writers Association. I've been a published author for over 20 years, and the piece I'm going to read to you is called The Next Big Thing. And what's kind of cool about where this story is going is there's 7 of us authors who are going to try this, you know, because we have this new technology and stuff. There's 7 of us who have written novellas about Ouija boards, and they're all going to be put into one big book called Intersections, and the flyer's on my table. So we've all just delivered our stories, and then the anthology will be up soon. It'll be in ebook form and in print form, and the authors are me, Doug Clegg, Brad Hodson, Chris Mars, and Robbie Boley, and Megan Hart is a best-selling author. There's I think 3 best-selling authors involved in this little shindig we're doing, so I'm pretty happy about that. And so my piece is called The Next Big Thing, and I'm going to read you a little bit from it. I'm trying to get this down as quickly as I can, just in case there's no other opportunity to share this warning. Quickly, I'll note that I'm on one of those million-mile bus rides from Toronto to Boston. By car, it's about 8 hours. By bus, try about 23. It's hell sitting here, literally. I'm sweating to death, and I'm lucky that I'm rather small. I'm wedged between 2 rather large men who have already succumbed to the lurches and sways of this behemoth we're strapped into for the next 1,000 years. It was my petite frame that drew him to me. That I knew for sure. I lured all men and ladies with my oddly thin body and exotic pale face. I've been this way for a couple of years now, so I know that my seatmates are appreciative as they snore in the darkness. A regular-sized woman would have made this leg of the journey a sweaty, crowded nightmare. However, I'm grateful to be in the middle, kind of squished around while the dudes are snoring on either side of me. I have a flashlight pen so that I don't wake up the whole damn bus with my overhead light. As for using a phone or laptop to record this tale of dread, I wouldn't trust any of them. The spirits travel through electricity. Autocorrect is but the tip of the iceberg of the havoc the spirits could create through our addiction to technology. So, I'm writing this tale in a Star Wars notebook that I bought at the dollar store, and hope that it will be found one day. I may have a chance to finish my story. I may not. However, first, the story needs to begin. Perhaps introductions are in order, in case a stranger happens upon this opus. My real name is Felicity Alice Brown. Yes, I know, exciting. Not many people know me by that anymore. Around age 14, I had acquired the nickname Felicia. Kind of a long story, no need to get into it now. There's no time to be kicking cans down that particular memory lane. These days, well, at least until yesterday, I was part of a 2-person entertainment show called Danny and Annie Will Blow Your Minds. For about 2 years, our shtick was to perform mentalism and magic illusions anywhere that would have us. We did great around Toronto, and even traveled for a while. But as happens in the magic industry, people want bigger and better. You can wow them by reading their minds, but it's never enough. There always has to be more to the act. For 2 years, we rode the wave of being the new gig in town. We were on talk shows, radio shows, podcasts, and performed everywhere from amusement parks to yachts for rich lawyers. We both knew, however, that we had to keep the act fresh. We had to always be bigger and better. There had to be something unique, something simple yet obvious that we hadn't tried yet. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, for those of you who don't know me yet. Lord knows, I doubt I'll ever have any children to find this book. I may perish as I write this, or I may live another 60 years. For goodness sakes, I'm only 28. But man, I feel like I'm 97 right now. My back is hurting already from writing all curled up like this. However, I prefer the bookend comfort of these two unconscious men than to have to face a row of empty seats by myself. I know they're in here. On this bus, I can feel the shift in energy as they coast along the bus, patrolling it as invisible armed dogs, sniffing as they sense me nearby. Their spindly black fingers can't reach me, nor can they pollute my thoughts as I huddle between the men's own protective auras. As long as I don't piss off the men, their sleeping auras will keep me safe. I never let it leave my side. That wretched board is tucked into the seat pocket ahead of me. It's wrapped in tinfoil and then in cloth. I won't leave it in a suitcase or a knapsack. No, that thing has proven I have to keep my eye on it at all times, at least until I get it there. I reach my hand out to stroke it, to be certain the rough crackle of tinfoil lies beneath the cloth. Yes, it is still there. It is contained, and they are waiting for it just on the other side of those twin flesh mountains. So that's what I'm dealing with while I try to get this story down. That's all you get to do.
So I'll start off the questions. I wanted to ask you if you have a set writing schedule, since you do have so many books out.
Well, it changes as my life changes. I am a mom, but now I'm an empty nester. So, back in the day, I used to grab time while the kids were at the dance classes or in school or whatever. Now I have the whole place to myself. And I get way less done than... And yeah, I don't really have a set schedule anymore because I don't have to grab pockets of time. My schedule is the deadline. And so some days I may write a lot, and some days I may write a little. And yeah, I'll just answer that and then we'll go on.
The next question is, how do you market your books?
Well, now we have all this great technology, social media, so I try and get on board of that as much as I can. So with this Ouija board anthology, for instance, this is a brand new way of marketing none of us have tried before. So like I said, I think Hart, though, who's one of the people who had the idea, I think she's done it in the romance camp. So for seven authors, established authors coming together, we each write a novella, not a short story, but real novellas. And then we're going to break apart in about a year and then sell our novellas on our own with their own covers and stuff. I go on Instagram, I go on Google, I'm on Twitter. I have a Patreon. If you want to sponsor me, I'm writing a space opera on Patreon. I deliver a chapter or two a month, and I'm going to be delivering chapter 9 this month, and that gets my little Star Wars thing out of my system. But yeah, so I have, and also on my Patreon, I show lots of ghost hunting pictures and EVPs and stuff like that I've collected. And, I try to do things like this and, go around to libraries. I go to conventions. I cannot say enough that going to actual horror conventions, if you're a horror writer, is very important. I think, everyone, like the guys I know from the Horror Writers Association, we all we see each other in the States more than we see each other here in Toronto, right? I don't know, when did I saw Vegas? Yeah, so there's many ways to market, and technology makes it so much easier, yet harder. So.
Any questions from the audience?
Yes.
Has this been a genre that you've always sort of been inclined to? I mean, obviously your writing skills seem to dovetail with your tarot card things and some of the other things. So has this sort of always been in your blood?
I would say I am Spanish. The Goya and the bullfights. I'm 54, so when I was a little kid, there was no horror genre. Stephen King wasn't invented yet, right? So I was really into original fairy tales, animal books like Beautiful Joe, which is probably bigger horror than any horror story anybody's written. That's a horrible book. It traumatized me. And I was really into science fiction. I love science fiction and short, weird things like those Alfred Hitchcock mystery stories and all those weird stories, weird tales. And that's why I named my book Weird Tales of Terror. It's weird things. And Logan's Run and all that stuff. And then Stephen King was invented. And so then there was Carrie. I think I was 14 when The Shining came out. And, I would be there every time a book came out. And so when The Shining came out, my room was in the basement, I had no windows. And so I started reading this Shining book, and I was so terrified I could not put it down. And my parents kept coming in and telling me to go out and play it or whatever. I'm like, don't, they opened the door and I jumped 50 feet. But I couldn't go to bed or anything until I knew how it ended because I was so afraid. And then when I finally finished that book, it took me 2 days, but I did it, slammed that book shut, and I went, when I grow up, I want to scare the hell out of people like I was just scared. So that was sort of my motivation to become a horror writer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes?
I found the tension very strong, very powerful in that story. I was wondering, does that amount of tension continue through a story, or does it ebb and flow?
With the story I just read, yeah, because I'm trying to pull you into the story, right? And then eventually I'll get into like how they get the Ouija board and all the crazy stuff that happens. And yeah, it's a horror story, so that's just the beginning. I like to scare people, because like I said, I was scared to death. Was it scary?
This video brought to you by the works of Stephen B. Pearl, available through Amazon and fine bookstores everywhere.